Preparing for an Eagle Investment Systems interview? You've reached Candy Mentor, and this video is for you. We'll walk through 15 key questions you're likely to face. For each question, you'll see a sample answer, followed by the key points to cover. Subscribe, like, and share, and drop a topic request in the comments. Question 1. What is Eagle Investment Systems, and how is it used in investment operations? Eagle Investment Systems is a buy-side investment operations platform used for investment accounting, data management, performance, and reporting. In practice, I think of it as the system that turns trades, positions, prices, corporate actions, and reference data into controlled books and reportable data. Eagle Star is the accounting engine, while Eagle Pace supports the data warehouse layer. Interviewers usually want to hear that I understand both the technology and the investment operations workflow. While answering, focus on Eagle as an investment operations platform, not just software. Mention accounting, data management, reporting, buy-side users, and how Star and Pace support controlled portfolio data. Question 2. Can you explain the difference between Eagle Star and Eagle Pace? The distinction matters because Star and Pace solve different problems. Star is the investment accounting book of record. It processes transactions, positions, income, tax lots, and journal entries. Pace is the data management and warehouse environment. It stores cleansed data, supports reporting, and integrates feeds from multiple sources. In an interview, I would say Star creates accounting truth, while Pace distributes controlled data for reporting, analytics, and downstream consumers. Make sure to cover the functional split between Eagle Star and Eagle Pace, including accounting book of record, warehouse reporting layer, data lineage, and why interviewers test both business and technical understanding. Question 3. Walk me through the trade lifecycle in Eagle, from trade capture to accounting impact. A clean trade lifecycle starts with validated trade capture. I would check that the trade has the right security, portfolio, broker, trade date, settlement date, price, quantity, and fees. Eagle then posts accounting, updates positions, projects cash, and supports settlement and reconciliation. If something breaks, I trace it from source file to load status, exception queue, accounting posting, and position impact. That approach shows I understand controls, not just screens. In your answer, talk about trade capture, validation, settlement fields, posting logic, position and cash updates, exception handling, and how you would trace an issue from source feed to accounting impact. Question 4. What are the key fields you would validate when setting up a security master record in Eagle? Security master quality drives everything downstream. For a bond, I would verify identifiers, issue date, maturity, coupon, day count, payment frequency, currency, country, asset type, and pricing source. If those fields are wrong, Eagle can miscalculate income, amortization, market value, or regulatory classifications. My approach is to use golden source reference data, maker-checker approval, exception reports, and periodic reviews. Good setup prevents operational breaks before trades even arrive. Be sure to mention core reference fields, identifier mapping, security type, income attributes, pricing setup, golden source controls, and the downstream impact on trades, valuation, income, compliance, and reporting. Question 5. How would you handle missing, stale, or questionable prices in Eagle? I treat pricing issues as valuation control issues, not just missing data. First, I identify whether the break is missing price, stale price, tolerance breach, wrong currency, or incorrect hierarchy. Then I compare approved vendor prices, broker quotes, prior day movements, and market context. In Eagle, the fix must flow through controlled price loads or overrides with documentation. The goal is accurate market value, clean NAV reporting, and defensible audit evidence. While answering, focus on valuation controls, price hierarchy, vendor feeds, stale and missing prices, tolerance checks, overrides, audit trail, and how incorrect prices affect market value, NAV, and client reports. Question 6. How are corporate actions processed in Eagle, and what controls would you check? Corporate actions need both economic understanding and system discipline. For a cash dividend, I expect income accrual or receivable creation, ex-date and pay date processing, tax treatment, and cash settlement. For a stock split, Positions change, but economic value should not. In Eagle, I would verify event terms, affected lots, accounting postings, and downstream reports. The key is proving the portfolio reflects the event correctly without artificial gain or loss. Make sure to cover event terms, effective dates, accounting treatment, position and cash impact, tax withholding where relevant, exception checks, and the need to confirm no artificial gain or loss is created. Question 7. How would you perform cash and position reconciliation using Eagle data? Reconciliation is about proving Eagle agrees with external reality. I start with positions by portfolio, security, currency, and custodian, then move to cash, transactions, income receivables, and market value. For breaks, I classify timing, missing trade, corporate action, FX, price or mapping issues. I also care about aging and materiality. A good answer should show that I can investigate root causes and keep the accounting book reliable. In your answer, talk about reconciling Eagle to custodians, brokers, administrators, or internal ledgers. Include cash, positions, transactions, income receivables, break categories, aging, ownership, and root cause resolution. Question 8. What accounting entries would you expect Eagle to generate for a purchase and a sale transaction? On a purchase, Eagle generally increases the investment position and records a cash payable or cash reduction, including commissions, fees, accrued interest, or taxes, depending on accounting policy. On a sale, it relieves cost, reduces position, records proceeds, and recognizes realized gain or loss. I would not memorize one universal entry, because setup matters. I would explain the accounting logic, and then validate postings through trial balance, lot detail, and cash impact. Be sure to mention accounting logic rather than memorizing entries blindly. Cover cost, cash, accrued interest, fees, realized gains losses, lot relief, trial balance impact, and validation against transaction detail. Question 9. How does Eagle handle multi-currency portfolios and FX accounting? Multi-currency processing creates 2 layers of risk: investment performance and FX translation. In Eagle, I would check local currency cost and market value, base currency translation, spot rates, realized FX on sales or cash settlements, and unrealized FX at valuation. A simple equity bought in euros but reported in dollars can move because of price and exchange rate. The best answer separates security profit and loss from currency profit and loss clearly. While answering, focus on local versus base currency, FX rates, realized and unrealized currency gains, cash settlement, translation, and separating security performance from currency effects in Eagle reporting. Question 10. Explain amortization and accretion for fixed income securities in Eagle. For fixed income, the interview usually tests whether I understand income beyond coupon cash. If a bond is bought at a discount, accretion increases book value over time. If bought at a premium, amortization reduces it. Eagle needs correct yield, day count, payment schedule, and accounting method to calculate that. I would review income accruals, book value roll forward, and realized gain or loss, because amortization directly affects accounting income and position cost. Make sure to cover premium and discount bonds, effective yield, day count conventions, amortization and accretion, coupon accruals, book value roll forward, and how fixed income setup affects income recognition. Question 11. What checks would you perform during a month-end or period-end close in Eagle? Month-end close is where Eagle data becomes financial reporting evidence. I would ensure trade loads are complete, prices and FX rates are approved, corporate actions are processed, reconciliations are cleared or explained, and accounting periods are locked. Then I would review trial balance movements, income accruals, realized and unrealized gains, and exception reports. The key is repeatable controls, completeness, accuracy, approval, and audit trail before reports go out. In your answer, talk about period-end controls, completeness of trades, approved pricing and FX, processed corporate actions, cleared reconciliations, exception reports, trial balance review, lockdown procedures, and audit evidence. Question 12. A portfolio's NAV or market value looks materially wrong in Eagle. How would you investigate? If a NAV or market value looks wrong, I would isolate the driver instead of guessing. I compare today versus prior day by portfolio, asset class, security, price, FX, quantity, and income. Then I trace the outlier. Was it a trade, price move, corporate action, reference data change, or accounting adjustment? In Eagle, I would use position, transaction, price, and journal evidence. The final response should document root cause and remediation. Be sure to mention a structured investigation. Compare prior day to current day. Isolate price, quantity, FX, income, trade, corporate action, or journal drivers. Then document root cause and remediation. Question 13. How would you approach reporting or data extraction from Eagle Pace using SQL? Reporting from Eagle is only useful if the data lineage is trusted. I would first confirm which source table, field, effective date, entity, and accounting basis the report uses. Then I would reconcile totals to STAR or an approved control report. For SQL, I avoid broad joins, filter by portfolio and date, understand keys, and watch duplicates. A strong answer shows I can produce reports without creating uncontrolled numbers. While answering, focus on data lineage, table selection, effective dating, keys, joins, reconciliation to control reports, SQL performance, duplicate prevention, and avoiding reports that bypass governed Eagle data. Question 14. What would you focus on during an Eagle implementation, migration, or conversion project? In an Eagle implementation or conversion, my focus is completeness and validation. I would map portfolios, securities, open tax lots, positions, cash, historical transactions, prices, FX rates, and accounting rules from the legacy system. Then I would run parallel NAV, trial balance, income, and position comparisons. Differences should be categorized and signed off. The safest migrations combine business SMEs, technical mapping, reconciliation packs, and formal user acceptance testing. Make sure to cover conversion planning, legacy to Eagle mapping, open positions and tax lots, historical data, parallel runs, reconciliation packs, user acceptance testing, sign-offs, and change control discipline. Question 15. Describe how you would handle an urgent Eagle production issue affecting client reports. When an urgent production issue hits, I would protect the process first, assess impact, identify affected portfolios and reports, communicate status, and stop bad data from spreading. Then I would diagnose using logs, load results, exceptions, and reconciliation evidence. If the fix requires an override, I document approval and reversal logic. Interviewers like this answer because it balances urgency with control, which is exactly what Eagle support roles require. In your answer, talk about production support behavior, impact assessment, communication, containment, log and exception review, controlled fixes, approvals, post-issue documentation, and preventing recurrence through root cause analysis. If you are still with us, congratulations. You are much ahead of the rest and serious about preparing for your interview. We hope we were able to add value to your preparation and create some helpful content. Do not forget to like and share this video. Your small act can do great things for us.